Revenge on cheating wife, now ex, as well as the karma that came afterwards. So I am in the army and I was married. I was approaching my first deployment to Iraq. It was very stressful and it had my wife wanting me to find a way to stay and not deploy. Obvious things any wife would try to talk about. Anyways, so we have no kids but both want them. So we talk about getting out of debt while I'm gone. She talks to her best friend back home in another state where we are both from. Her friend agrees to let her move in and charge a modest $300 in rent so that we can get out of debt and start a family when I come back. A plan I was actually very pleased with. As I deploy, she is there crying her eyes out saying she will miss me and loves me and we will start a family when we get back. Fast forward 2 months. She starts acting distant. Not wanting to talk much on our scheduled calls or text back 1 or 2 word answers. We've been together 6 years and she is never at a loss for words. Anyway, one day she says I need some space. She asks someone who is 10,000 miles away for space. I ask why. She says she just needs space. She wants to find herself. So I remember back when we lived at home she had a guy who was always being borderline inappropriate. I'm not a very jealous person and I trust her. But then I start seeing said guy on in basically all her pictures she posts with a group. Every time he is in the picture. Everyone else changes but never him. So for the first time I'm very jealous and uneasy about everything. So I clone her phone so I receive every text she receives as well as every text she sends. I'll never forget the first text I saw after cloning her phone. Hey babe. I'll see you after work. Want me to save you any of my leftovers? From her to him. It destroyed me. I lost 35 pounds in a week. I didn't eat or sleep. I stared at the phone watching every conversation. Watching them talk about trying to have a baby. It was literally everything a married person fears. I ask her if she is seeing someone and she says no she isn't. She is taking care of herself and she loves me blah blah. I don't say anything about receiving her text for 2 months. Over this time she finally admits cheating and that he is so much better than me at sex, treating her right, and he does what she wants. During this time she pays our debt off, gets tattoos with him, matching I love you tattoos, goes to shows with him, buying clothes etc. With the money I'm making. So this is where revenge starts. I put a freeze on the account for a month. In that time I change every password to every account to things she won't guess, army jargon slang terms. I block her on FB and my phone so she has no way to contact me. She lost her car to repo a few months later, got kicked out of her place, had to sell her prized shoes and purses just to stay alive. I then find out she got a job at her old restaurant. So I post all the text conversations I have with her and the guy talking about having babies that have time stamps on it, as well as post conversations we had with the matching time stamps showing all of our friends what she has done. I then have friends call and complain at her job constantly on both he and her. They work at a restaurant so I also have friends dine and dash. They both get fired. So she tries to call my command and tell them that I am abandoning her and she can't provide for herself. My commander knows what is going on. He does nothing because he had something similar happen. Then about a month before I come back she calls me from another number to tell me she is pregnant with his kid. Mind you I'm still gone so we cannot get divorced yet. She moved away with him. 10 hours from me. April 24, 2018. She calls me 5 months pregnant crying uncontrollably asking me where she should go. Apparently they have a giant blow-up fight. She tells him she is leaving. She says she doesn't know where to go and I simply say, sorry not my problem anymore. Fast forward January of this year. She calls me from a mutual friend's phone. Her. He hit me. I don't know what to do. Me. Maybe, you don't cheat on your husband when he is deployed for some guy who talks a big game. Her. Well, I guess you are happy about this? Me. No, but I'm glad I know I'm not the bad guy in this story. And then the next month. Her. He is cheating on me with 2 girls. I'm sorry. I regret everything I did. I messed it all up. Me. Yeah, you did. All in all, this woman destroyed my life. Put me into a deep depression I'm still dealing with. But I do feel a little better having proof that I wasn't the problem. To think if this happened even 10 or 5 years ago I would have come back to an empty bank account, an empty house, as well as seeing my then wife pregnant with another man's baby. She actually hit me up yesterday to ask for some money to help cover rent. Edit to answer a few questions. I realized I left out that we got divorced before the kid was born, so I have no financial responsibility to her. Haven't now for almost a year. Also no. I wasn't celebrating that she was physically abused. I did tell her to call the cops, but that's all I did. It's not right to abuse someone, but I also have no responsibility to watch out for her well-being. I'm interested in how he cloned her phone from 10,000 miles away. That isn't meant as I don't believe you or anything, just generally curious. But anyone who cheats on a significant other who is serving overseas gets whatever comes their way, as that is a horrible thing to do to someone who is risking their life, for a bunch of strangers. So there are multiple ways. I had to do it 2 separate times. But the easiest of the 2 was T-Mobile has this thing called Digits. It is where you can have the same number on multiple phones and just log in from another device. I left out the part in the army and an intelligence analyst. Someone who prizes shoes and purses when they are trying to save to start a family is immature at best, shallow at worst. You may not have realized what kind of person she really is, but she showed you. You dodged a bullet, buddy. My wish for you is next time you'll find a woman with some substance who already learned life's lessons. Yay, definitely. She had 3 purses that were $1,000 apiece. And multiple shoes that were $300+. But yet I was a bad husband. Oh, and just for more context. I bought a PS4, I already had an Xbox, she lost her shit exclaiming it was a waste of money. Yay, total waste like those purses you have that do so much. Dude, you dodged a bullet. My ex-husband, he cheated, was a Marine. But when we were together, he went on a 7-month deployment to Okinawa. One of the guys he was deployed with came back to an empty, trashed apartment, cat piss and shit everywhere, pot roaches, used condoms, another man's camis, and his wife was 4 months pregnant. His bank account was empty and he was on the hook for several months' worth of unpaid bills. Yay, I have friends who I grew up with whose mom just left one day. Dad was deployed and mom dropped them off, 3 brothers, at the on-base daycare and never came back. The oldest was I think 7, the youngest was 2. How do people do that? Like I couldn't imagine doing that to anyone, let alone my children. Been in a similar situation, although I wasn't married to her, and she'd been cheating before I was deployed to Afghanistan with my best mate. Long story short, I found out after I got back and knocked 5 of his teeth out. My commander also did nothing but laugh and high-five me. As for the girlfriend, she's now an ice addict. Having worked as admin personnel in the Navy. Good of you for getting her out of your life without her claiming any of your pay and benefits. I've had to deal with too many guys in similar situations that were still mandated, some by court, to pay for cheating wives and child support for kids that were obviously not theirs, stupid state laws, and help them figure out a way out of all of it while still maintaining their sanity. I'm a very lucky wife of a veteran. He left the army after multiple tours with all body parts intact, always a win. But I also had my prayers answered, as he didn't go on tour after we got together, though twice after we met. He did spend most of the first year of marriage and our eldest son's life on exercises, training, even pre-tour training, as he nearly went to Afghan. Thanks God my prayers were answered. I think outside leave we got maybe a fortnight of him coming home every day 3 times, but never longer until his next posting. So I get her not wanting you to go and being in tears. Harsh fact is, like it or not, it's your duty. But 2 months? That's it? She forgot her vows that quick? And that's when she was obviously feeling guilty, but considering cheating while your SO is in a war zone is out of order too. As is giving them any reason to worry about what's going on back home. Things like that can get people injured or killed. And she had the nerve to do the, I need space, 10K miles for what, her guilt over being a shitty excuse of a human? Wow, her logic: I screw someone else while he's on tour but he should still support me. Then go through finding out he's a piece of crap. I don't think anyone deserves to be a victim of abuse, the rest of it? She brought it on herself, karma is a bigger B than her. Feel sorry for the kid though. Also, You deserve so much more than she was capable of being. You got a lucky escape as you didn't start that family with her. I get it sometimes you don't feel lucky, but having a kid would have meant she'd have had a hold on you for years. This way just put her in the rear view and enjoy whatever comes your way. My hubby had a shitty first wife. A couple of years after it ended he still didn't want a relationship, never getting married blah blah, hump 'em and dump 'em type thing. I know as I was there when he said it. 16 months later we were married and our first child was born, that was 12 years ago. So don't give up, we're not all bees who can't keep their legs shut, that was her thing not a woman thing. I am so glad to hear your commander had your back. There are so many of my army buddies who were in your position and got completely screwed. Having money taken from every paycheck to support another man's kid is just the beginning. I am really happy for you. Hooah. So he technically could have gotten in trouble, but we were downrange and there was no health emergency, so he knew they couldn't do anything because of our location. So he had reason to not pursue any action, so he and I were safe from the green weenie. Hooah brother. Sorry to hear about this whole mess. It's something that I saw too many times in my army career. It always hurt me to see my fellow brothers and sisters in arms go through the pain and heartache of a breakup due to cheating, especially when deployed. As an NCO, I tried my best to help my soldiers through their issues and to comfort them when they needed it. Some were suicidal and I'm proud to say that I never lost someone to their depression. If you need someone to talk to, please brother, don't hesitate to PM me. I'll be there anytime you need someone to listen to you, without judging you, or advise you. No te dejes llevar por la depresión, tienes un futuro. I had an ex, not nearly this messed up, who admitted to messing things up when her marriage to the guy she was cheating on me with fell through. It felt good to be vindicated, but it still took a while for me to learn to let the whole thing go. I held on to that shit for way too long and let it affect me far longer than any over her crap affected her. That is karma doing her job. I have been married for 40 years. My first marriage did not make it 1 year. She messed up royally with some smooth-talking a-hole from her office. I knew about it immediately. She was shown the door, and I made sure everyone knew what she did. Karma gave her a big swat to the head. One evening, I was at a bar with my wife and 2 kids. Guess who is working behind the bar? She got to see me and my little carbon copy, my son who is my spitting image, and then to drive it home, my wife and daughter walked in, both of them so beautiful, poised and intelligent. Total knockouts. My ex beat a hasty retreat to the storeroom. One of her coworkers emerged about 5 minutes later and asked if we had said something to my ex. No. She just got to see what she had unmercifully messed up years ago. I wish my ex-husband could have wound up with something crappy enough to make him realize what a jerk he was. Dude cheated, hid it well, and if I'd gotten more proof than the chick he cheated on me with telling me he cheated on her too, while we were still married, which was delightful, his command probably could have hit him with Article 134 and ruined his career. Instead he's still wandering around screwing people over at his next assignment. I know in the end revenge doesn't make what she did disappear, but I'm glad you got some closure on it. All I can do is passively hope he gets hit by a reasonably sized bus. Also I'm glad your command supported you through this. I hope you're doing better and that you find better people in the future. What sucks is now adultery has kinda not been a big thing anymore with UCMJ. A friend of mine was at a court-martial for this dude's adultery case. They ruled it didn't affect the unit in any way, so it wasn't important and just gave him 30 days extra duty. Oh yeah, I know it's on an individual basis, but this is someone who works in the same career field as I do, and one of the chicks he slept with was non-prior service in a training environment. He would have been hosed if they caught him. Not so much for the adultery itself, but all the issues surrounding it. The training unit he was in was investigating it and couldn't make anything stick. Otherwise I'd be posting some sweet revenge in here, ha. My ex never recovered. She betrayed me, and as a consequence, I assaulted her AP. Then I demanded from their mutual employer that they be terminated. I knew full well her professional designation depended on ongoing employment, so she lost her degree. Studied for 5 long years, and was deeply in debt because of it. Too bad, So sad. She works in a bar now, it has been over a decade, more or less, and still not recovered. I went on to meet and marry one of the great women of the world. We proceeded to have 2 great kids. She ran into us a few years back, and I heard that she had a major meltdown. Too bad, so sad. Stay strong and don't bend. Everything you did was justifiable. And for God's sake, don't even look at the child. It's not your issue anymore. I've seen dudes go back with the women that got pregnant on deployment because they fell in love with the kid. The worst story I remember is one of my guys marrying his girlfriend a month before deployment, knowing her for only 6 months. Her name was on the apartment, the car, everything. She had dudes in and out of the apartment, driving his car, playing his Madden team. There was nothing he could do about it, because her name was on everything. So sorry you had to go through this, that is awful. While I understand wanting to have nice things, that seems excessive. For me, I like to have nails and hair done, which I always try to do on the cost-effective side. Sadly, I cannot even afford to see a therapist on the benefit rates, let alone get my nails. The luxury of a 1K purse is mind-boggling. If I had the money for that, I would rather get a video game or upgrade my computer or go out to dinner with the mister. Better yet, if I was in the same situation, I would try my best to save up what I could to have an amazing welcome home for my partner. Newest games, a party of friends and family, in my case artwork or home-cooked favorite meals. Like, dude is in the army, that's hard enough as it is. I went off on a tangent, sorry. My point is, that I am so disappointed that this happened, and I offer every sympathy I can. Depression is no joke. Trauma from a betrayal or toxic relationship can last a long time in ways that are unexpected. I really hope you get some help in dealing with it and are able to feel better soon. I really hope things get better for you, you seem like a really nice guy. I am glad you got some satisfying karma. I am still waiting for mine, ha ha.